Hi Sagittarius, peace, light, and love. So I am checking in with you all and under this energy of this Cancer New Moon. Hope all is well. And yeah, I want to note, especially if you are new to my channel, this is your first time watching any of my videos, I am a student astrologer. Okay, I am not a professional astrologer. I do not offer classes. This is really for entertainment purposes. It's a prediction of energies, so this is a part of, you know, energy observation. And, you know, prediction is also a part of divination as well. So, very 8th house energy, okay, which is the energy of the occult. And Sag, you have the sun, the moon, and Venus in Cancer in the 8th house. And let me just say that I am also an 8th house. Like, I have 8th house planets, okay? I have my Saturn in the 8th house. I have my Mars conjunct Uranus in the 8th house as well. So I am experienced with the 8th house. I also have a 12th house stellium as my sun, Mercury, Venus, and my moon is all in the 12th house. So my 12th house and my 6th house is a big chunk of my birth chart, but my sun is in the 12th house. And I did read up about like the difference between your sun being before your ascendant and after your ascendant. That does make a difference. So yeah, needless to say, my sun is before my ascendant. So I'm not always one that is seen in, like, you know what I mean, amongst the public. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I do like to pop out, but the 12th house is a big part of my chart, okay? And when you observe your birth chart, the big pieces of the pie is like where the most of your life force goes to, if that makes sense. So like if you got a big 10th house and a big 4th house, then a lot of your energy is on you know, home, your parent, your status, you know, how you present yourself to the world. The 10th house is an energy of the world, okay? So something you do that push yourself out there for the world to see, which is the World Wide Web, right? But anyways, I done got completely sidetracked. But can you get him? But this new moon cycle is in your 8th house. And the 8th house is the energy of the occult. Okay, it is of, it can be connected to dark spirituality, okay, dark arts. That's where you have like the scary movies, the gothic stuff. But also the 8th house is a very codependent house. You know, seeking support off of someone else, or like your livelihood comes from someone else's income or resources. So that is something that I learned about being in the 8th house. But also the 8th house is a hidden house, so it can be like, you know, it's also connected to the psyche. And so this is something that's in the mind that you keep as a secret. So you might not want to express that openly, you know, what those thoughts are. And so for some reason, it's those darker parts of someone that is kind of hidden before it is made, before it's brought to light. So you do have the sun in your 8th house, And the sun in the 8th house might illuminate something about sex, fear as well. You know, the 8th house is, you know, other people's stuff. You know, there could be an obsession here as well. The 8th house is also connected to somebody else's spouse. It is a house of entanglement, investigation, okay. You know, there could be, this energy also comes with this trine from the 8th house to the 4th house. This is an energy of like roommating, a boarding home, something like that, where you share your finances to support a home, you know. But there could be some kind of crisis or fear or some kind of trauma connected to a home as well. So it could be something triggering in connection to the home. This 8th house trying the 4th house, there could also be a death in a family, or in your spouse's family, or in your mother's family, or it could be something that comes up about your mother's family and things like that, because this 4th house is the house of your mother, your family, your home. The 4th house trying the 8th house and the 12th house is a very sexual energy as well, okay. This new moon in the 8th house is going to square Chiron and Aries in the 5th house, and the North Node in Aries in the 5th house. Whew. So the 8th house squared to the 5th house. Now the 5th house is the house of play, joy, you know, entertainment. It's the house of children and pregnancy, okay. So there could be some secrets regarding the child, or something about, you know, you as an entertainer, you know, because this money is, you know, that you make as an entertainer comes from other people. So, you know, it's an energy of that. Get that for him. He trying to pick that up off the fly. And also, you know, because the 8th house is obsession, it's sex, you know, it does give off a sexual vibration. But the 5th house is the house of like play, sport, you know. It's like the one being made fun of, or it's comedic, or however you say it. But, you know, the 8th house is connected to your spouse. So, like somebody could be pregnant, or the 8th house square the 5th house. There could also be like, okay, that's an Amber Alert. So definitely some kind of trauma surrounding children. Crisis, trauma, death, like fears, you know, thinking the worst, you know. The 8th house square the 5th house. The 8th house is like a trigger, you know, but you have children to, you know, provide for, to take care of, to be an example to, you know. But there are some fears in connection to you and your children. And maybe there are some inner child issues as well. Maybe there's some unhealed wounds and trauma that hasn't been dealt with from your childhood, you know. Mercury just entered your 9th house, and it's opposite to Pluto retrograde in the 3rd house. So Pluto retrograde in the third house is connected to the past. Okay. It's connected to the past, somebody from your childhood. It could also be something about your neighbor. Your siblings is also connected to the third house. You know, Pluto retrograde in Aquarius in the third house. Yeah, definitely connected to your siblings and, you know, the past, you know, your childhood, people from your past, your community, your neighborhood. Okay. And you have Mercury and Leo in the 9th house. So the 9th house is the house of spiritual leaders. It's also a house of travel. Okay. The 9th house is also connected to creditors, banks, financial institutions, higher institutions. This is also connected to like the dark web, you know, hackers, the military. Girl, get that for him. So Mercury and Leo in the 9th house is also like joy, happiness, singing, you know, beauty, children, joy, like just an overall happy energy. But this is also an energy of being a teacher. Okay, this is the energy of teachers. Like I said, this is the house of creditors. Okay, long distance travel as well. Okay, so you could be traveling at a distance. There could also be something legal going on. It could be something legal in connection to travel. Okay. Your sibling could also have something going on legally as well. Okay. But Mercury retrograde in Leo in the 9th house is also connected to your bravery, your confidence, okay? Your ego, you know, putting yourself out there, okay? And the 9th house is also connected to like different nations, different cultures, okay? So yeah, you could be traveling, learning of different cultures and things like that. Speaking of your experiences from traveling, you know, your experiences of that you had when traveling also, because you have Mercury here in the 9th house. Okay. So yeah, Mercury and Leo in the 9th house is very creative. Okay. This is also the house of international trade, international services as well. Okay, such as, you know, I love Japanese food, I love Mexican food, I love Jamaican food, I love Chinese food. Okay, so it's like speaking of those different experiences, okay, because you do have Mercury here in the 9th house. Okay, so this is definitely connected to the 5th house, which could be games and childishness. You know, the 5th house is also connected to gambling. Okay, so you could be traveling for entertainment, for you know, just to have a good time. You could be traveling for anything dealing with beauty, or you know, if you sing or you dance, you know, you could be traveling for that, you know. And also you have Mars and Taurus in the 6th house, which is in a sextile to Saturn retrograde in Pisces in the 4th house. So, Mars and Taurus in the 6th house is work. You know, your daily routine. The 4th house is connected to your home, to your mother. Yeah, your home, your mother, things like that. And also with Mars and Taurus in the 6th house, be mindful of like arguments at work, okay? Mars and Taurus in the 6th house could be arguing with your mate, or arguing about your beliefs, okay? Arguing over money, over food, you know, over your comfort, your stability, okay? But this in the 6th house to the 4th house, so yeah, it's definitely connected to the home. So you could be quite combative or argumentative a bit at this time, okay? Also, with Mars being in the 6th house, and it's especially in the 6th house. Okay, so yeah, I'm on my way down. So yeah, hygiene. Mars and Taurus in the 6th house is hygiene. How you take care of yourself, you know, your diet, your fitness. Like I said, this is also the house of work. So, you know, just be mindful of, you know, arguments and hostility and things like that. I also want to note that this new moon in the 8th house in the trine to the 4th house. I don't know, did I mention? Yeah, your house could be watched or under some kind of investigation. The 8th house trying to the 4th house and the 12th house. There could be some loss connected as well. But this is mainly an energy of catching up on sleep, you know, catching up on house chores, you know, something with your mother. Okay, you could also be like hyper emotional at this time with this moon in Cancer in the 8th house, really moody as well. So yeah, so that is what I have for you, Sag. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when I post another energetic reading video. And I will see you in the next one. Peace.